for certain projects, and like we wrote it when we were making Underneath, and what became Underneath, and there were a lot of, truthfully, there were just a lot of songs about brokenness and subtly, you know, and so it began with, wow, this is a great song, but this album's gonna become ballads, you know, and it just felt like it wasn't right for it. In some cases, new songs come in to projects, and I think the story of the song, originally it was just Breakdown, and then as the story of the song was written during, partly we did this songwriting retreat in France that was in the Toronto Break documentary. Yeah, and that song Never Love Again. And so the story within it is probably more subtle. I think that what we were going through in that whole process and that record was a lot about being willing to sort of take the breaking and take the, you know, the failure and sort of channel it. And so I think it's kind of amazing that it was written and that it still carries weight this many years later. And like we said, and we talked about it, I think quite simply it feels like it was sort of being, you know, incubated and, you know, waiting for the right project. Where we needed to say exactly that at the right time in a way that still felt like it was going forward. Like it's not all about, you know, falling apart, but still trying to forge through.
I think part of the thing about Breaktown too is there's an acceptance of that place you'll go. It's almost like a Hotel California type of thing. Like you'll go, and whether you want to or not, you're coming back on vacation later, and again, you know, a couple of years later. And when you look at the story of string theory, it's sort of going through these emotional ups and downs, getting to that moment, that recognition of like, hey, it happens, this is bad, I'll be back, everybody goes through it. Like I think that was a really cool message to tell for this story, and this whole show lent itself to staying mellow longer than we normally would, for going quieter more times than we would, or kind of the power ballad element of what Breaktown is. Like, you could really dig into that because of the whole setting.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that I will say about Breaktown too is it was really, really special to finally have the chance to let that song be heard because, you know, people had heard it in kind of demo form, I think, through the Strong Enough to Break documentary and things like that. But to really have the song fully realized, and I remember so clearly hearing the first round of orchestration was cool, but we were like, this is not quite right, and we kind of gave David some feedback about, well, maybe a little bit more like the second chorus and a few things like that. And he sent the second round back, and we were like, this song has been waiting for this moment, unquestionably. It was literally like, it was like Jake and Elwood Blues, like the band, the light showed down, you know. But the other thing too that is kind of fun about them making the string theory, we were going to re-record Breaktown, but we had done a version of Breaktown for the Walk album with Danny Korchmar, and we had not released it because it didn't. Again, it tried to be on Underneath, didn't work. Tried to be on the Walk, and it didn't work. And there are actually multiple versions of this song from both of those records. And we were like, wait a second. When we pulled up the multi-track of that recording, and we're like, this feels exactly right. It sets the exact right tone, not just the song itself, but also the kind of approach to the song, because there were several different approaches that we'd taken. And so, again,
several components from that performance are actually recorded in 2007.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like from the archive.
Yeah.
Secret.
Exactly.